Welcome to our GoToMeeting Conference Room Freedom in Minutes webinar. We have a few of a GoToMeeting team here with us today. I'll introduce them in a second, but I'm really excited to introduce our conference room topic today and how we've got you covered. My name is Erica Mackey and I'm here with you from the GoToMeeting team. My role today will be kind of to moderate the questions. We want to hear from you, your feedback, if you've used the conference room solutions, how you've managed in the past, all of that good stuff. So keep that coming to me. And many of you have found where you can chat in any questions today in the GoToWebinar control panel. You can also choose how you listen to us today via mic and speakers or telephone. So with that, I'm excited to introduce all of our team here today. We've got Renard with us. He's our marketing manager up in San Francisco, and we've got the GoToConference team consisting of Chris Larkin, Jeremy Zimmerman, and Curtis Lewis. And then we also have Preeti joining us from Germany. So thanks. I know it's a little late there, and we have all kinds of great things to cover. So with that, let's get started. So Chris, first I'm going to launch a poll and we can find out a little bit more about who's joining us today. So everyone out there, grab your mouse, let us know what your role is. Are you the IT person who gets the call of frustration when people can't connect in the conference room? Are you the user who is the one trying to figure out where all the cords go? We have any AV people or facilities people here? So Michael's in sales. I assume that you're a GoToMeeting user, you're launching meetings and sometimes in a conference room situation. Perfect. So Chris, we'll give it a couple of minutes. We've got about 78% users here today, a few 13% right now on IT. And it looks like everyone is quick today. Everyone is caffeinated. I'll share those results out. And you can see we've got a lot of GoToMeeting users today, so I think you'll be happy to see these solutions that we have for you. And I'll go ahead and hide those results. And with that, I'll cover a quick agenda today. We're going to talk about our conference room story, how GoToMeeting has you covered from your small huddle rooms to your larger rooms. We'll talk about what is GoToConference, what it includes, and how easy and simple it is to set up. And then we'll go into the simple-to-use meeting experience with a live demo from Curtis for GoToConference and another live demo from Preeti on In-Room Link. And then we'll talk more about In-Room Link, what it is, and how it works for you. So we've got a lot to get into. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Renard, actually. So we're hopping on, Renard.
Yeah, thank you, Erica. And we're really excited to share with you today that from the boardroom to the huddle room, GoToMeeting has you covered. And we have you covered with two exciting new items here today. And that is, first, GoToConference. And that's really solutions for your huddle room or team room. And it's when you need the hardware, and we give you a package that couples the best of hardware and software together so that you don't need to think about what you need. And we've curated this to give you a seamless, rock-solid experience, which Chris is going to talk to a little bit later. And then the second solution is In-Room Link. And that's really solutions for your conference rooms, 10+ meeting rooms, and it's when you have that existing hardware that you've already sunken costs into, and it's part of the GoToMeeting Plus lineup. And we're also very excited to share with you that we're named by TechRadar as a best productivity gadget. This just recently came out. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Chris to talk a little bit more about GoToConference.
Thanks, Renard. So yeah, as we go through this, one of the things I just wanted to give a brief overview on, and you can see the poll that's up on the screen right now. I've been in the software business for about 20 years now, and one of the things that's common, and I know that all of you listening to this are nodding your heads, yes, you probably at one point in your life have walked into a conference room or several times And the one thing that's constant is conference rooms are typically kind of complicated. You walk in, there's 7 different toggle switches on the desk, and you're like, oh, great, cold sweat. Which one do I plug into? Is my computer going to work in this conference room? Can I get everyone connected? Shoot, it's 5 minutes late. The meeting already started. And so the whole genesis of GoToConference came from customers like you that asked us, hey, listen, we need help in the conference room. And so the poll that you see on the screen, if you could respond to that, that'd be great. And that's what we set out to solve. We wanted to take the complicated out of the conference room. As Renard mentioned, whether or not you've got a small room or a big room, either way, we've got you covered. So Erica, how are we doing on that poll?
I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We've got a large percentage that voted, so let me share the results out with you there. Chris, we've got about 80% that are feeling frustrated.
Yeah, so you guys are just like me. Yeah, so that's where this comes from. It comes from customers just like you asking our company, listen, can you help us out in this regard? Because we've got some pain here. We got IT personnel that are being called last minute, and again, meetings starting late, and the frustration surrounding that. So this is the problem we saw, right? This is the cords that I'm showing on the screen here. It's frustrating to get connected. It's always sort of up in the air. Then if you have vendors come in, how are they going to get connected? And so we saw this as an opportunity for us to really cross-apply the ease of use of GoToMeeting to the conference room. And all of you, 79%, had said you've used GoToMeeting. So GoToMeeting, the reason why that product exists is because it's easy to use. It's easy to get into a meeting. It's easy to connect with people and collaborate. And all we did is cross-apply that to the conference room, that ease of use and that connection. So the problem we saw is pictured here, and that's what Jeremy and Preeti and I solved for with this solution. And so let's go to the next slide and talk about how we solved it. So as Renard mentioned, we really wanted to take the complication out of this. And so that Tech Radar article talks about how we basically send you a box, and we're going to talk about this, and Jeremy's going to go into this in greater detail. But it comes with everything you're seeing on that table. And so if you remember the last picture we just showed with all the wires and how do you connect, this is what your new conference room will look like. This is what your huddle room is going to look like. And this is how it should look. The conference room does not need to be complicated. And so that's what this solution set out to solve for. And you can see here it's very, very affordable. So another question we've got coming in the future on this PowerPoint slide is, if you've spent money on a conference room before, you know how expensive they can get. The intent of this product is to make it accessible for everyone. So for $9.99, you get everything that's included here. And again, Jeremy's going to show you a little bit more of that. And then you pay the $99 a month, and you just walk into this conference room, you enter the code, and boom, you're in the meeting. No downloads, no worrying about it, no worrying about how to get on the conference or to get into the GoToMeeting session. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy, let him talk a little bit more about this and how this whole thing sets up.
All right, thanks, Chris. So as Chris was saying, we wanted to choose components for the solution that were industry leading to enable a great audio and video experience in the huddle room at a fraction of the price that most of these systems usually cost. So let's go through the equipment piece by piece. The Chromebox is essentially the hub, which the other devices plug into. The Revo Labs USB conference phone provides professional quality audio. It provides a tweeter and mid-woofer speaker elements. So the sound is very full and rich, and really provides good bass to the voice. It sounds great. There's 4 built-in microphones around that unit so that everyone around the table is heard with 360-degree coverage. The next piece is the webcam. So that's the Logitech C930E. It features a 90-degree field of view. A traditional webcam offers about 60 to 78 degrees, so the 90-degree angle really allows more participants to be shown around the table in the room. Last, we include that wireless keyboard. It has a built-in trackpad, so you don't have to worry about losing a mouse or having a mouse pad in the room. It's a really clean look. It's an all-in-one device. Next slide here. All right. So let's go through setup. When you open up the GoToConference package, you'll find this step-by-step guide shown on the right there. The Chromebox installs right behind the display. It actually includes a mounting bracket, so you can screw it right into the wall and plug it into your display with an HDMI or DisplayPort cable. The webcam, speakerphone, and wireless keyboard dongle all connect to the Chromebox, and you're all set. So that webcam pops up on the display, the Riva Lab speakerphone right in the middle of your table there. Now for the user, there's no loose cables. There's no having to configure audio or dial a phone number or plug in webcams. The user literally just has to walk in, enter their meeting ID, and they're all set. The rest is just managed by our software, so it's very simple for the user experience. And to show you a live demo, Curtis is going to jump on, and we'll show you the user experience.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for that, Jeremy. So I spend most of my day working with customers, implementing the solution, taking it on site, and actually setting it up for customers. As Jeremy said, it takes just a few seconds to set this up. I can typically walk into someone's office and get it going within 3 to 4 minutes. You know, it's about 5 or 6 steps to plug in, and this is a nice view of it right here. So what we're going to look at is just how simple it is. When you go into the room, you know, there you see Jeremy has turned on the TV. The system is always on. He's going to plug in an ID of a meeting. So this is our use case 1. You're walking in. You know you need to join a meeting. You're going to come in, sit down, plug in the meeting ID. You notice it's going through the join process. It's going to walk you in. Now he's in that GoToMeeting session. It's going to enable the video. It's going to enable the audio automatically. So really, when you think about that scenario of you're running late or you just walk in, or even in the situation, I think Chris alluded to this early on, you know, when we were started to, you know, bring the solution, you know, and plan the solution, what we were trying to do is solve for folks who wanted just a simple solution for their attendees in these huddle rooms to come in and join meetings. And you see how simple it is. A walk in, plug in the ID of the meeting, hit return. Now you're joined in session, your video is going, and you can now collaborate with your colleagues or customers, whoever you're meeting with. And as Jeremy closes up this meeting now, the really nice thing is, because of the way we've designed this solution, is when he ends the meeting, when he leaves the meeting, when the meeting ends, it goes right back to the start screen. So we're right back to that meeting join screen where the next people walking in, you'll notice even in you know, Jeremy's office there, you see all those people walking by. A few of them even probably looked in the meeting room because we have so many of these huddle rooms and so many people are using these throughout our office. The next person that's going to walk into that office with Jeremy is going to be able to come in, or that little huddle room, sit down and plug in. There's nothing literally short of physically unhooking the box, which where we have our boxes mounted under the TV or under the desk, you can't really do that. He can't really you know, do anything to not allow the next person to come in and have a good experience. And that is really important, because when these rooms go down, you know, in current setups, then, you know, you have to get somebody out there from IT or facilities to get it working again. So really, Jeremy can't, there's nothing really Jeremy can do to kind of ruin this experience for the next person, which makes it really simple. Now, another scenario is, you know, let's say Jeremy walks in, sits down, and wants to initiate a meeting. Then all he needs to do is plug in, once again, the meeting ID. And then the only thing it's going to ask him to do now is to kind of return and get into session. It's going to have him go through his login process with his account. So now he's going to go through that process, and then he'll be able to initiate the meeting there as well. So you'll see that's a secondary scenario. Now you're not, you know, now it's a situation where you're not, you know, just joining a session. Now you're coming in and actually launching a session for others to join in other locations from their desk or from their mobile devices. So once again, you see that just took a few seconds. And now Jeremy's actually initiating a meeting, going through the process. So one little extra step there to actually log into the account, but that's all you needed to do. And so really, when you think about it, those are the scenarios, the attending of a session or the running of a session right there, and you'll see it in just a few seconds. Thanks, Jeremy. And I think we can, you know, kind of now end this, and we'll obviously take questions on this a little later, but we'll move on to the next part of the presentation right now. Just the provision.
Thanks, Curtis. I'm going to flip through your demo recap slides just before we turn it over to Renard, just to show those of you who may not have seen the webcam view, but you can see the GoToConference.
Exactly. So yeah, the join, and now this is the where you would go in and log in if you're the organizer, and that's how simple it is. It's just you know, a join screen and then a login screen if you need to actually run the session, but very simple, very easy.
Thanks, Curtis. And now we're going to share the other piece that we have with you, in-room link. So let's see a show of hands there. It's going to be in your box. You're going to have the ability to actually raise your hand. And so let's see a show of hands on, how many of you spent a lot on conference room equipment. So we'll give it a minute, and it's just to the left. There's a rectangular box, and Erica has pointed it out there. Are we getting folks raising their hands here?
So lots of hands going up there. Renard, we've got 50, and it's moving up. So
nice.
A lot of people out there already spending money on their own conference room systems.
Right, and that's precisely why we have in-room link. And the issues that we saw out there was that businesses have spent a lot of money on their conference room equipment, right? They've bought, or they have legacy systems that they've put in. And so really IT leadership wants to leverage the systems that are out there, really make sure that organizations are having face-to-face meetings, right? And they're bringing their organization together closely, because what we're seeing in the world is that people, organizations, they're in different places. They're in different geographic locations. People are working remotely, and that's really the future of the workplace. And so we came up with in-room link. Go to the next slide. To really allow you to unlock your current conference room equipment. And we do this in 4 ways. We maximize the value of your legacy investment with a GoToMeeting experience on your current equipment. Reliability, right? This is backed by GoToMeeting. It's on GoToMeeting, so it's on that software that you have grown to trust. Connections. We deliver a professional, high-quality video conference experience, which is easy for your meeting attendees. And then also Videofy. And that's really a trend where IT people really want to make sure that they're driving connections for their employees, and they're really increasing the speed of productivity for teams. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Prithi to talk a little bit more in depth about in-room link. Prithi.
Thanks, Renard. I'm very, very excited to be on this call and sharing some information with you about a project I worked on with a wonderful group and a wonderful team. This is in-room link, as Renard said, and it's the ability of GoToMeeting to work with compatible devices supporting H.323. There's a lot out there. I'm going to give you an example of one today. What it does is it allows you to join a GoToMeeting experience from these devices. You'll see up to 5 webcams for the attendee in the room to view, plus they're sending their own webcam across for folks to see on the other side. We also have in the room the ability to screen share, view content on the room display, and it's available today with GoToMeeting Plus, or those of you who have GoToMeeting 100 as an option, you can also see it, but it's available today with GoToMeeting Plus. So I'd like to actually show you the demo. I'm just going to move my webcam. And this is the device that I have here. Hopefully you all can see it. It's a life-size Express 220. These systems are kind of on the table, but I want to show you the experience. So the first thing to note is, as an organizer for this meeting, you'll send out a meeting invite. And if you could just advance the screen, my friend Erica, you'll see this is what an attendee or will get from an organizer who's sending out a meeting invite. You'll see, okay, if you're joining from a video conferencing room or system, dial this. I am going to just do that if this is a sample invite. So I've entered in the meeting that I've set up, and super easy. Just going to hit call. As the organizer for this meeting, I've already started the meeting, and there's Jeremy, who you saw earlier, and me. on the laptop that I've started the meeting on. And the room itself is broadcasting their webcam. So this is just a simple, like I said, way to screen share or to view video from these devices. And then I can also take a look at screen share content. Now, something to note is Jeremy's in Santa Barbara. I'm in Germany. So we've just had a simple, easy connection from one of these life-size devices supporting H.323, and that's what we've got there. So that's just the experience. I'm sure we'll have questions later. I'm just going to flip back over and let you know that this is available by default, turned on by default. Admins can turn it on or off from the admin center. So if you have the admin experience, you'll see it, video conferencing rooms and systems, and you can just check or uncheck that, and that's at the account level. So thanks, everybody. I'll hand it back over to the team so they can take a look at what's next. Oh, Q&A. Great.
Lots of questions coming in. Thanks, everyone. Great overview of GoToConference and in-room link. So we'll start with a few questions for GoToConference, and Chris, I think you can answer this one. Does the system itself work with other programs besides GoToMeeting?
Preeti, do you want to take that one?
No, yeah, I'll happily take that. It actually doesn't. No, it's locked into a mode for GoToMeeting specifically, and that's for the ease of use that you've seen from Curtis and Jeremy. We want to make sure that you just have that ability to join quickly and use GoToMeeting.
Awesome. And this might be a question for Jeremy. What are the specs on that Chromebox?
So the Chromebox is essentially just running our application. You know, Chromeboxes run type of web app thin client, so you know it's kind of a streamlined device that is an Internet of Things type device. So
yeah, so
you know, on the back of the device, you know, you'll find a display port and an HDMI port.
Yeah, so the intent of the device, just to kind of clarify this too, is that thing is running GoToMeeting 24/7. So the intent there is for that to be a lockdown GoToMeeting environment where you just walk in, as Curtis said, and it's somewhat unbreakable. You go in there and you just enter your code and you're off and running. So that Chromebox is dedicated to GoToMeeting and it's running 24/7.
And the benefits of that as well, you know, a lot of times a company will have, you know, a dedicated PC in the room, and IT managers hate that. You know, they have to be re-imaged all the time. There's security issues. Multiple user logins get cached, and it's kind of a nightmare. So.
Great. So a lot of really good questions coming in, and I think that might have answered John's questions on the Chromebox. Let's see, for both in-room and GoToConference, do we still have the 6 webcam limit? I don't know who wants to take that one.
Curtis, you want to take that one?
Correct. We will currently still have the 6 webcam limit on the GoToConference box. In-room link, I believe it's 5 at this moment in time, and that's more of the limitation on the other side than on the hardware side. However, we are working toward GoToMeeting itself is working toward a higher number of cameras, which you should see information if you're a current GoToMeeting user. Or a customer, you should see some information on that coming in the next few weeks. We are going to be upping our numbers there, and we should be fast following these solutions with an upgrade or an uptick in the number of cameras soon after. It will hit the general GoToMeeting release first, and then we'll follow with these products soon enough.
Yeah, if I could just chime in here, the only reason it's 5 on in-room link is because we don't display the self camera. That's handled by the device itself. It is getting sent across, though. So if those of you who are interested in that.
And a good question from Doug. Just to recap, what is the best, or the kind of the scenario that we solved for? What is the best room size for GoToConference and then for in-room link?
So I could take a crack at that one, and then maybe Jeremy, if you want to fill in. So the GoToConference is really intended for huddle rooms. So think about those small huddle rooms that are becoming more and more popular. the 6 to 8 person room, sort of like the one that Jeremy was in when he was showing it. And think of in-room link as your bigger sort of corporate conference rooms, sort of your showrooms that you might have that have 20 seats around a long table, and you might have a Cisco telepresence system in there or a Polycom system that you spend $25,000 on. In-room link can bring GoToMeeting into that environment as well.
Okay, lots of great questions coming in there. If anyone of my other panelists sees any they want to take, feel free to jump in. Question from Chessie, is this something that can be done on an Apple TV?
I could take this if we want to. Short answer is no, and there's a limitation on the Apple TV technically that doesn't allow that. The GoToConference system itself is designed for this specific use case, and I assume you're talking about GoToConference because in-room link is leveraging the equipment that you currently have, so the Polycom, the life size, and what have you. So.
Okay, and a question for the in-room from Bill asking how you can start a session from an H323 device.
That's a really good question. At present, it's a join experience. This is something that we're working on, and Renard, you can chime in maybe about our current launch. I mean, that was just recent, so we're going to continue iterating on the product offering as we continue. And if it's good feedback for me as a product manager, if that's something that you're interested in.
Yeah, in-room link was just launched at the end of June. And so we have a roadmap of items that we'll be adding on and improving on as we go forward in time.
Awesome. While we're on in-room, question earlier from Jonathan just asking if there's a limit of H323 systems that can connect to a GoToMeeting plus video session. I think we had an example list somewhere on the support site, which I can share, but I don't know if there's any additional information.
I can answer that. I can answer that. You're going to tap out at the number of cameras, but no, there shouldn't be really a limit. Generally, we see, we've got. You can still join the meeting if you don't have a camera shown, but you'll see it in as many as you have for the account holder. So plus generally covers, I think, 100. So yeah.
Awesome.
And that includes remote attendees as well. So as you saw, Jeremy was joined as a remote attendee, but he wasn't joining from a room system there, from an in-room link system.
Okay, trying to stay a couple questions on the same topic there, but back to the GoToConference solution. With the Chrome-based PC, how does the screen sharing work with local files? Maybe Jeremy or?
Yeah. So at present, the best way to do that is to actually bring in your own laptop and join the session. So you can just join the GoToMeeting session from your laptop. You leave your audio off, and you can pass presenter and share your screen content that way.
Great, thanks. Let's see here. All kinds of questions. Let me quick find another.
There was a question I saw real quick. I can address it while you're looking to. Someone asked what version of GoToMeeting you would need for the H323 in-room link, and that is the GoToMeeting 100 or the GoToMeeting Plus, which is the GoToMeeting 100 version. So that's the only version of GoToMeeting that will come with the in-room link for the H323.
Perfect. This might have been relating to Jeremy's question there. So when you come into the GoToConference room, and if you are bringing your laptop, the question is, are you plugging your laptop into the Google device or the TV, or nothing at all?
No. So you'll just join from your laptop to the session that's already running, and pass presenter to that computer. So you don't have to plug anything in. You can just run off your network Wi-Fi and then just share your screen content.
Yeah, the intent, if to take a step back on that, the intent is to get to a wireless situation, right? Where if people do need to share something, they come in with their laptop or their iPad, and they can connect remotely, wirelessly, and then share content via the internet.
Yeah, there's so many new ports coming out on these devices nowadays with USB-C now. We didn't want to deal with any type of dongle situation. Yeah, purely wireless.
Yeah, I thought this was another good question, Erica. Would the Chromebox be able to work with different speakerphone and video camera? And just want to reiterate that this was, as Jeremy had said, there was a team behind this really picking out the items in the GoToConference package, right? And so all of those were purposely picked so that they work really well together and they give you the best experience, and it's bulletproof too.
Great. There's a couple questions there that maybe Curtis can answer directly, if there are demo versions of In-Room Link or how someone would go about trying that with their system.
Yeah, In-Room Link is available with our GoToMeeting Plus subscription. So, and that's really all you would need is a GoToMeeting Plus account. So if you have that, you should be able to test it out. When you create an invite, you will see the in-room link information to be used with those products that we talked about. If you do not have a GoToMeeting Plus subscription, please reach out, obviously, to whoever you are working with in sales for LMI, for LogMeIn, and they can provide you with a trial account to test it out. And as thanks, Erica, for pulling it up on the screen so quickly. That's basically what you're going to see is the ID along with the information for routing it to the proper equipment. If you would like to test out GoToConference, it's basically the same thing. Work with your rep. Now, obviously, the GoToConference has some equipment. We do have a trial version trial versions of that we can make available, ship out to you, and have you test that out for a few weeks to see if it's a good fit in your organization. And once again, reach out to your sales executive for that to get those en route to you.
Awesome. Question from Josephina is asking if with GoToConference, can remote attendees hear the audio of the online video being presented? I'm assuming she's asking the audio from the conference room. Is that what, if she maybe just clarify? But
absolutely, yeah. Okay. Regardless of how whenever you join a GoTo session of any type, regardless if you join via voice over IP, like the GoToConference rooms are set up, or if you dial in on our included integrated audio, both toll and toll free, all that audio is brought together into the same experience. So there is no difference. So regardless of how you join a session, via phone, via toll-free, toll, voice over IP, whether or not you're on your device, so if I join from my iPhone, either through the built-in voice over IP or dialing in on the phone, I'm always going to hear all other parties regardless of how they're in. So basically, everything is integrated together. That's the real beauty of having an integrated audio solution. We are our own audio provider, as we like to talk about. I think we're the 4th or 5th largest audio provider in the world with our integrated toll and toll-free, along with our voice over IP. Everything is brought together into one solution. So regardless of how you're going to join and regardless of how anybody else joins into a session, everyone is going to be able to hear everyone every time.
And there's a question here for Preeti and Jeremy as well with regard to, there's two on the in-room link. H323, how many H323 systems can connect to that Plus video session?
Yeah, so we touched on this a little bit, but I'm happy to tell you it's based off of the Plus account. So I believe the Plus account, please keep me honest to the rest of the team, is 100 participants. Now,
yep, 100.
As we showed you earlier in the demo, there's 5+1, your own webcam that's seen on the room system. So that's how many webcam feeds you'll see, but there is really not a limitation from the number of room systems you can join, only by the 100 plus. I mean, I would have to say, go ahead and give it a go.
And then there's a follow-up on that. Tandberg cameras. Jeremy, maybe you could address this one. Is there can our in-room link via the H323 connect to Tandberg cameras and Tandberg systems?
I can address that actually,
Okay.
if that's okay. It supports the H323 protocol. Tamberg is a bit legacy, as long as you can try it. Curtis mentioned how you can try it. If you have a Plus account, you can just give it a go. And then if you have any questions or things like that, feel free to reach out to your sales team. And I'm sure Curtis is nodding that, yeah, that's the right process. And we can help you out there if it's not working as you expect. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, so real quick, Chris, if you're looking for other questions there, I'll answer a couple. We will share a link to these slides, which include the screenshots from the demo so that they're larger like you're seeing right now. You'll see both demos, and I'll share the slides in the follow-up email, as well as links to learn more about each feature that we're talking about and to contact your GoToMeeting contact and learn more about that. So those will be in the follow-up email, as well as the link to the recording. So just look for that a little bit later today, and hopefully that answers a couple of those questions that came in. See, any last questions coming in? Feel free to.
Yeah, there was another comment here about the solution being positioned for the enterprise, and therefore is expected that parties on both sides would have the equipment and each would purchase a license. So maybe, Chris, you can maybe speak a little bit to GoToConference and how, who that applies to, and then we can touch on in-room link.
Sure. So, sorry, I was reading another question while you were mentioning that one. I was trying to address two at the same time. They're asking about the licensing model for GoToConference?
Just who is it positioned for, and also the licensing model, and who can patch in, right? So let's say I purchased the GoToConference system. Would other people have to also purchase it in order to connect?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it acts exactly like GoToMeeting right now. So you don't, if you're an attendee, you don't necessarily have to have a license. You just get sent that link by that conference host, and then you can join in. And in terms of the size of company this fits for, this is really anyone from a mid-market company of 50 employees or more, all the way up to I have enterprise clients with thousands of small huddle rooms. And so it's really intended to solve for, it's not necessarily relegated to the size of the company, it's intended to solve for a space. So think about it that way. GoToConference solves for the small huddle room space, and up to 100 people can join those sessions. And there was a question here about let's see, what happens to the people joining via audio, and how easy is it to join via audio? And so that audio experience is exactly like you would see right now with GoToMeeting. It brings them in via VoIP, and if anyone wants to fill in here, but you also have the ability to do a toll or toll-free line, however you see fit to those attendees. So if people want to just dial in, they could very well do that as well, and they would hear you on that conference room speaker that Jeremy showed.
Great, and a question just to recap, we talked about two different features here. So recap on what is the pricing, and that's probably pertaining more to GoToConference since in-room is included with Plus plans. But if Chris, if you want to take that one.
So, sorry, I was reading another question here. I'm trying to do two things at the same time. So
That's
GoToConference.
Okay. Pricing, yeah.
Pricing, yeah. So it's when Jeremy and I and Preeti were really looking at this market, we thought it was crazy to spend $10,000, $20,000 on some of these rooms. And so the intent of the price point is to be disruptive, and it's something that everyone can afford. So for $9.99, and maybe we can go to the slide with which one it includes. For $9.99, you get everything in a box. It doesn't come with the TV. I believe there was one question here about we have our own TV. It connects to your TV. It's 4 things in that box, and it's literally Jeremy and Curtis could speak this. You can set this thing up out of the box. You don't need to be in IT to do it. You can set this thing up out of the box in 2 to 5 minutes, and you are live and ready to go.
It is actually steps. I think we've counted it up 8 steps, and one of the steps is literally open the box. Like open the box, pull out the Chrome box as Jeremy showed. Plug in the audio, plug in the camera, plug in the HDMI. And then flip the wireless keyboard on, and you're really good to go. So, we've sent this out, and like I said, what I'm doing for customers who want to try this out is I'm putting together these boxes, shipping them out with literally, limit those instructions, and then having them test it out, and then ship it back to us. So it's that simple. And we, as we travel around, going to some of our key customers, we literally take this in a backpack, walk in, set it up as the first part of the meeting. And I haven't had an issue yet. It hasn't taken me more than 3 or 4 minutes yet to get it up and running in front of a customer, and it's really exciting. I mean, it's really built for those solutions and those customers and those IT. And I always say those IT and facilities people who spend their day getting the calls. Hey, this room is not working. This room. If you want to get rid of those calls and just have something that you can set up and then not think about for the next 3 or 4 months, which I'm sure some of you out in the call who deal with that. That's what we're trying to do. That's this solution. And then the other side, in that with the in-room link is, we have these folks who've spent, you've made the investment in the hardware. Now we want you to, reap the rewards of that investment with GoToMeeting. So you're still going to get a great collaboration experience. You're going to get a great mobile experience. Everything that comes with GoToMeeting now on those other devices as well.
Yeah, and the one thing on the pricing too to kind of circle back to, it's $99 a month thereafter. And that means every time that Chromebox is working, every time you join in that meeting, there's a new great upgrade that the team, Preethi's team, has already put on the box. And so it's sort of that peace of mind that you pay that monthly, and then it's got the new and greatest facets of GoToMeeting within the Chromebox and the GoToConference experience. And there was another question too about, okay, what's the price difference between in-room link and GoToConference? So GoToConference, once again, $9.99 and $99 a month. In-room link is the cost of a GoToMeeting Plus license. So it's a GoToMeeting 100 license. Some of your accounts probably already have it, so you can use in-room link right now. If not, there's pricing online for a GoToMeeting 100, and we'd be happy to get you that.
Yeah, and that's just to leverage. That's to leverage your existing devices that you have, that support H.323. So, take advantage of it for in-room link, and then if you want the all-in-one, that's where GoToConference comes in.
1 or 2 more questions here, a couple of good ones coming in. Steven's asking if there are any issues with your IT as far as IP requirements and getting through firewalls for in-room link.
I can address that. We do have some support documents that say what needs to be configured, and that's available on our support pages. Prior to trying to make a call out, we'll also work with you if you have some questions or issues there. In general, that information is available on our support page.
I'm sharing all kinds of links that you're mentioning there, Preethi, so hopefully you can find it there. We've also got a great team of customer support that you can actually call and talk to a real live person through the link that I sent. Just scroll to the bottom and click contact support if you want to discuss or have more questions after this. And I think a couple of these last questions are around how do you get more information, wanting to share the presentation with the decision maker or someone who needs to buy into this to help you out. And we will share all of this in a follow-up email. Any last thoughts on that, Chris, how someone would contact their rep and find out how they can get GoToConference or make sure they can access in-room link?
Yeah, so both, if you already have GoToMeeting licenses, your rep is a wealth of knowledge for either in-room link or GoToConference, so you can reach out to them directly. We also have a lot of stuff online that you can read up on as well. Any questions that we didn't get to in this meeting, we'll get back to, I believe, Erica, those folks as well, right? Questions we didn't answer?
Yes, so okay. Also, one other quick note, we will have a follow-up survey. So if you have any questions to add or you forgot to ask during the session, add them there or simply just reply to any of the reminder emails and I can find the answer from one of our team and get back to you. So we'll definitely have an answer for you. There were a lot of other questions that weren't maybe not on this topic, like scheduling a meeting or any of your GoToMeeting how-to questions. You can find answers on our resources or our customer care support site. I like to highlight this just because it's a great resource for everyone. I shared one article. There's more technical information on InRoom and also for GoToConference all through our support site. And again, this is where you can contact our team if you have more technical questions you want to discuss. So before I wrap up, one last time, any last thoughts from any of our guest speakers today?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks everyone. It was great to have our GoToMeeting team, and all of you here today, you have the ear of our GoToMeeting team, so if there's any other suggestions or enhancements you want to these features, add that to our follow-up survey that'll pop up when you leave today. And thanks to everyone who joined us and to all of our speakers today, and Preeti, you can now hopefully call it an end of day over there in Germany. So, hope everyone has a great rest of their day and rest of the week. From the GoToMeeting team, have a good one, and thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.